What's going on, everybody? We are back. It's been a few weeks. Been away, had a baby. Took a little time away from doing these recaps, but hey, after the game yesterday against Kansas City, I figured, heck, this probably be a good week to make my return here. So 9-2, man. The Buffalo Bills are 9-2 through 11 weeks of the season. The best start since 1992. Do the math. That's 32 seasons, man. That's wild, especially for a team that was, quote unquote, supposed to be in a rebuilding year this year. Everybody said that, them trading away Diggs and not re-signing Gabe Davis and letting Jordan Poyer walk and, Micah Hyde not coming back, not playing, rolling out with a lot of these, so-called career backup guys, man. 9-2, and man, they looked impressive. And I know it's the regular season, and I know it's the fourth straight year that the Bills have beaten Kansas City in the regular season, and all that don't mean a whole lot until they do it at come January, February. But I don't care what they say in the locker room, man. Bills, Chiefs, it's always a big game. And man, they rose to the occasion yesterday. The defense especially, man, hats off to the defense. They've kind of had a track record of slow starts to games, and yesterday, obviously, the second play of the game? It was a Patrick Mahomes interception. So they looked great yesterday, man. They were in the backfield quite a bit. Got to Mahomes a handful of times. Some key guys stepped up. You finally heard Von Miller's name mentioned quite a bit yesterday. Ed Oliver, Greg Rousseau, AJ Epinesa. Just a lot of the upfront guys, wreaking havoc, and that's what you need. And hopefully that's something that they can, sustain going forward down the stretch now. We're heading into the bye week this week, and we come back in 2 weeks, and it's crunch time. It's the point of the season where you gotta keep your foot on the gas. So after watching yesterday's game, I've bought in this season. It's taken me a while to come around to this Bills team, even with an 8-2 record. Obviously they've beaten up on the teams they were supposed to beat up on. They've won a couple closer games, and to me, the Kansas City game was the test. Obviously they got blown out in Baltimore earlier in the season. That was test number one. Granted, the Bills were missing a lot of guys. Not to make excuses for them, because they won't. But it definitely was a different team than what they are now. So, obviously that first test did not go so great, and then the very next week you get Houston, and you lose that one in heartbreaking fashion because of bad coaching decisions, and so your first two real tests of top level teams did not go so hot. But it was also at the beginning of the season. So to me, this Kansas City game was going to be my measuring stick on where I thought the Bills team could go this year. And it's, to me, the AFC's wide open, and the Ravens 1 week they can look like a juggernaut, and then the next week, heck, this week's a perfect example. You run into a tough defensive team, and they can shut them down. So obviously Kansas City has their flaws. Buffalo, we have lots of injuries still. Hopefully we get some big guys back come post bye week. So we got that going for us. Houston, I don't, the jury's still kind of out on Houston. You know, they're another one of those just teams you don't really. It's hard to judge, I guess, is the right phrase there. So, then even teams with losing records, you look at like Cincinnati. You know, Joe Burrow's playing good football, but they can't win games, and so I don't know. It's, to me, the AFC's wide open, and why not us? Why not the Bills? Say it every year, but who knows? Maybe this is the one, the year that nobody had any kind of expectation for us. Maybe this is the year for us. We'll see, man. If Josh Allen just keeps doing Josh Allen things. I mean, yesterday's game was a perfect example. Post game, talking points. I think it was on the Scott Van Pelt show on ESPN yesterday. They were talking about the game, and they were like, sometimes the game's really just as simple as one guy wants to win the game way more than anybody else on the field, and that was Josh Allen yesterday, man. Oh my gosh, he was Superman. Put on his cape, and he did the thing. As much as we love Josh Allen, man, and as much as I've in past videos ragged on Sean McDermott, you gotta tip your hat to Sean McDermott yesterday. It was a pretty solid game plan, but to me the biggest thing was he's finally learned after 5 seasons now playing against Mahomes and Reed, and this version of the Chiefs. It's you can't let them decide the game. Buffalo had the ball obviously there in the fourth quarter. They were up by 2 points, I believe. And yeah, they're in field goal range. It's 4th and 2, and do you kick the field goal? Do you go up by 5? Give the ball back to Kansas City with 2 timeouts. I think they still had 2 timeouts plus the 2-minute warning, and let them try to go win the game with a touchdown? Or do you go for it on 4th and 2 and try to milk some more clock off? Try to keep the ball out of Mahomes' hand. And even if they did not get that conversion, that was the right call 100% of the time. You got to take your guy in that spot, and that's what he did. So, and then obviously he was rewarded with like a 26-yard Josh Allen touchdown run that sealed the game. So, hats off to McDermott there. Finally learned his lesson, and didn't overthink it as he tends to do sometimes. So, but yeah, man, 9-2 for this Bills team's wild. Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot more to add. Obviously the bye week coming after a Kansas City game is nice. A lot of the guys, like I said, were banged up. So hopefully, coming back out of the bye, we should have Keon Coleman back. There's reports that we may have Matt Milano back. They opened his 21-day practice window, so there's a chance we get Matt Milano back. That would be massive. And then obviously, some other guys like Dalton Kincaid, he missed the game. He's banged up. Amari Cooper's still dealing with his wrist injury. So, yeah, it should be an interesting stretch run to the playoffs here for Buffalo. Obviously they still have a lot of winnable games left on their calendar. So hopefully they stay healthy. I think that's the biggest thing coming down here, and who knows, man. I guess we'll just sit back and enjoy the ride here for the last few weeks of the season and get ready for some meaningful football. So appreciate y'all for tuning in. I guess I will see you in 2 weeks post bye week, and until then, go Bills.